Friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of the weekly playlist. It's Friday, so it's time to share with you guys the games I've been playing during the week. This week I've actually been focused on two games, and they both have been eating up a lot of my time. Two wonderful games I want to share for you. One's for PS2, and one is for the Xbox One. So we got an old retro game, and we got a modern game to share with you guys. So, of course, in this series, I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions on the games I'm playing. I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on the games I share with you, what you guys liked about them or didn't like about them. I'd also like to hear what you guys have currently been playing. That gives me ideas on games I should check out. And if you have any recommendations on a title you think I should play, it doesn't matter for what system, because I have most consoles, and so I like to play a variety of games. I have different tastes. I don't only play like first-person shooters or only RPGs or anything like that. I like to play a variety of stuff because my taste changed, throughout the week. And I decided I want to play something like a racing game or something. So I do really enjoy your guys' recommendations, because you guys have recommended some wonderful titles that I have added to my collection, and some that I'm still keeping an eye out for. And so I do have a list of games that people have recommended to me if I don't have in my collection to play and check out and pick up. So we'll get started here with the first game. Is for a PlayStation 2, and I actually started playing this last year. I put it on hold for quite a while, and I started resuming playing it again, and that is Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. One of my absolute favorite racing series is the Tokyo Extreme Racer games. And I love Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. This takes place after Tokyo Extreme Racer 2 that was on the Dreamcast. This has over 400 different enemies to race in the game. And the premise of this is you start out, you'll only have so much money, which is credits in the game, and you have to buy a car. And you start out with kind of a crappy car, and you have to win races to get money to upgrade your vehicles. You can get better, and you can take on newer challengers and stuff throughout the game. And the different challengers are broke up into different little gangs, like the rolling guys as an example. And as you play throughout the game, you'll unlock different vehicles. When you defeat certain enemies like the boss and stuff, you actually unlock their car, which you can either buy and then use their vehicle, which is really cool game. Absolutely love it. So the whole idea of this is you drive around at night, and this is about the illegal street racing that goes on the highways of Tokyo. And throughout the night, you'll look for people to challenge you. And now your car is a yellow arrow on the map, and you'll go around and look on the map, and you'll see blue arrows. So if you see a blue arrow, that means it's a racer you have not beat before. If they are red, you're currently that's the person you're facing, or someone that beats you, and you have to re-race them again to defeat them. And if you see anybody that's green on the map, that means you've already defeated that racer. And anybody that's you can actually race will have a little R above their head, and it'll be color coded, like I mentioned about what those colors mean. And you can replay the same guys over and over again to earn money, which I do recommend that, especially early in the game. You're gonna be grindy. Find some guys that you easily can defeat, and then beat them in several races so you can earn more credits and use those credits to upgrade your vehicles. You can upgrade like the suspension, you can upgrade the body, you can get nitrous for your cars, you can change the color and everything. You upgrade the engine, the clutch, all that kind of stuff, which is key and important to making a better, faster, lighter vehicle to defeat your enemies. But I have just loved this game, and I'm at like 80 or so guys defeated of the 400, and just an absolute blast game. And in order to actually challenge like the different leaders, the guys that actually run those clubs, you have to beat all the guys that are under them first, and then they will challenge you. And if you actually beat, let's say like the rolling guys, I think they have like 6 dudes. If you actually beat those first 5 guys, as soon as that 5th guy's beat, the leader will actually come pull up behind you, and he'll initiate a race, and you have to beat him. And if you beat him, you unlock his car. You can also unlock upgrades for vehicles. There are upgrades that certain enemies have. So once you beat them, you'll unlock that upgrade for your vehicle, which is really cool. Another thing you can do on this is if your vehicle gets over 2,000 miles, you can unlock the maximum upgrades. And so one trick you can actually do, which I did on my vehicle, was after you complete a race, the game will take over and do an autopilot, and you take the disc you open up the PS2, take the disc out, and let the game just run on its own, and then just turn the TV off. Let that do that for hours, and it'll rack up a lot of miles. And when you're ready to resume the game, like I went to, I put it on late at night, and I did it for like 7 hours as I slept. Back in the morning, I put the disc in, and then hit to load the game, because you need to make sure you load it, because if you don't load it right, you can crash the game. And then after that, go back to the garage and save, and you'll see all these miles build up. And so that's a little trick you can do that I learned from somebody else who told me about it. But very cool and very fun racing series. Definitely think you guys should check it out. Like I said, they have Tokyo Extreme Racer 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast. You have Tokyo Extreme Racer 0 and Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 on the PlayStation 2, and both of those are very cool games that I think you should check out. But definitely check out Tokyo Extreme Racer 0. That's about a $5 to $10 game. Really fun racing game. Definitely think you should check it out. And next, we'll talk about a new game I just recently picked up for Xbox One. I'm having a blast with it. It is called Outward. This is a open world RPG, and it says, it's where the cold of night or an infected wound can be just as dangerous as a predator waiting in ambush. Explore, survive in unforgiving wilds of Ori, and don't forget your backpack. So this is a fun RPG. This kind of is like a throwback to old RPGs from back in the day, where they're very difficult to play, and it's not like a Skyrim. It's not going to be super easy, and you definitely have to take your time playing this game. But it's something I've really been enjoying playing. It's been really fun. This is definitely a kind of game that's up my alley, and it only was like $20 I got at GameStop, and it's really hard to find those. Kind of an uncommon title for the Xbox One, so I was happy to get it. But it's really cool. So you just start out with absolutely nothing. They kind of throw you in the world. You're like a half-naked dude, and you have to start finding stuff and complete that first main mission, and it throws you into a city, and then you just continue your journey from there. There is a main story, and then there are side quests and stuff you can take on. But one of the aspects I really like is you actually have survival stuff you have to do. Like, you have to eat, you have to drink. If you don't eat, you'll start getting hungry, and you'll start losing health. If you don't drink, you'll start getting dehydrated, and that affects your stats. It can have negative effects on you, but you can also get positive effects as well. Like, if you sleep, you'll feel rested, and you'll have more stamina. There's an inventory system like most RPGs, where you actually can pick up you can craft backpacks and stuff, and you can hold more weight in your backpack besides just your pockets. And you can find different equipment to equip, different items. So different weapons, different armors and stuff. And I really like is that the environment also affects you. So if it's really cold out, you have to dress warmly, otherwise you'll start freezing to death. Or if you're in a desert area, it's really hot, you don't want to be wearing a jacket. So you want to wear the clothing that's appropriate for the environment, because you'll get negative penalties otherwise. So I like that aspect of this game. It makes it difficult. You have to actually think about stuff. You have to craft food. And I really like is if you get injured, you don't just take a potion and you magically are healed right away. It takes time. Or if you start bleeding, you have to use bandages on you, which I really like. Adds that survival element to the game. There is no fast traveling at all in the game. The developers did not want that in there because they wanted to make it more realistic. So you actually have to travel. If you have to go from one cave to the next, you can't just travel back to the city. You have to physically do it on foot. And that can take time. You got to go through dangers and stuff, so you always have to be prepared playing throughout this game. Weapons have durability, your items have durability, so you have to repair them. If you have example, like you get raw meat from killing an animal, you can't eat that without having a negative effect. You could actually get diseases and stuff, so you actually have to cook your food. There's water you can find out through the game, but if it's not clean, you could get a disease from it, so you have to purify it. So there's all kinds of survival aspects that I'm loving about this game. It's difficult, but it's really cool. Now you can play as either a male or female. You have 3 different races. They have different names for it, but basically you can play as an Asian person, you can play as a Caucasian, or African American is basically the 3 different ones. And you can have different little faces you can change on them. I didn't really notice anything about you can't adjust the height or anything, but you can adjust your hair, your face, and hair color and stuff. So real kind of basic characters you create, and you can name them and everything. And basically you're just an NPC, which I really like from this, because it says right here, it says, you are not a god or a chosen one. So basically, it's like you're a regular average Joe guy. You're not some magical dude with superpowers or anything. You're not skilled in anything. You're just a basic average guy. So you have average skills that you have to level up as you play the game. So it's really cool. But it says, clothes make the man, so dress not only to impress but for survival. Extreme cold or heat can have serious consequences. Take care of yourself. In addition to personal protection, don't forget to get enough sleep, eat, and stay hydrated. Keep track of your backpack. It's your life in a bag, but it's removable. When you drop your backpack, your dodge motion is much quicker. For example, no turning back. Live with your choices. Outworld requires or features a constant autosave. Your decisions matter and influence the game immensely. So there is no saving and making multiple saves. It's kind of like a permadeath type thing. I mean, you don't permanently die, but you can have negative effects. Like if you die in the world, you could actually get captured by bandits. If some dude kills you, he can actually loot your backpack and kill you, and then you'll have to go back and find your stuff. And different things can happen to you. You might wake up and have a disease. You could wake up and be stuck in a prison or something and have to escape. So there are consequences to dying, which you don't want to do. So it makes the game even more difficult. And your choices, if you make the wrong dialogue choice, you can make somebody hostile and you can't redo it because the game really stays on you, which I do like. Kind of annoying at the same time, but I think it's awesome to have a game like that, which adds to the difficulty. And I'm just playing on like the normal difficulty, and it's pretty difficult. But it's one of these games, it does not hold your hand at all. So if you're used to games holding your hand, this is not one of those games. This is like the old school one where it kind of throws you in the world and you have to figure stuff out as you play. Like, so for me, the first couple hours of playing this, really got me into playing. There is a tutorial you can play through, which kind of goes through the basics of combat and dodging and blocking and that kind of stuff, and using magic and stuff, which I definitely recommend. I don't know if that's always been in the game, if maybe they added that in a patch, because when I got this, I had to update the game and I saw that tutorial was in there. So definitely recommend when you first pop in the game, do go through the tutorial. It takes a little bit of time, and goes through, but it goes over the basics of the game so you can play it and know a little idea of what to do. But as you play through the game, you understand stuff you have to do. Like, you want to make, you need bandages, you actually have to craft those unless you want to spend the money to buy them. So you find, like the example of the bandages take linen, so you find 2 linen, you can actually craft them. So I really like that aspect to the game, adding to survival. You actually have to find supplies and stuff to craft things you need in the world. Like if you want water, you have to have a water pouch, and you can use that to actually collect water. You can find food, you can attack animals to get meat and stuff, and then you can also find wood in the world, and you can use that to build a fire. You can actually get a cooking pot, you can put that on the fire, and then you can craft different recipes. So there's also recipes in the game you can unlock and find. You can buy them, find them in the world, and once you learn the recipe, you can actually make those recipes. Like you want to make salted pork or something, you can make that. You want to make a stew or something, and then you can also create your own concoctions and see what happens with the different combinations. There's different potions to create in the game and find, which can have different effects on you. Some things can heal you, and of course, just so you know though, like when you take a potion, like let's say you get sick, example, like I drank salt water and got indigestion, and so that kind of affected me where it can make me vomit. And so I found a potion to cure it, but it didn't happen right away. It doesn't take the stats right away. You have to, it takes a little while in-game time for it to actually work, which I like. It makes it more realistic. But so far, I'm having a blast with this Outworld game, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. And I learned that this thing was actually developed with only like 10 people. It's not a AAA game, it's like a AA game. And it doesn't have the best graphics in the world. Like I would compare them to like very early Xbox One, or kind of like Xbox 360 graphics. But the gameplay and the story and stuff definitely make up for it. You don't have to have the best graphics in the world to have an enjoyable game. Definitely think you guys should check this out. It's also on the computer on Steam. But very cool game. And one thing too that's really awesome is you can play this solo or you can play this co-op, either online or they have couch co-op, so a split screen game. And when's the last time you saw a modern game that had split screen on a game? It's really cool. Definitely would be cool to play this with a buddy locally, and then like I said, you can also play it online. Of course, you can play the whole game solo on your own, which I do like. Definitely think you guys should check out Outworld. This is definitely a game I'm going to put a lot of time into. Alright guys, so we're back. So we'll go over real quick. Like I said, I talked about Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero fun racing series. I definitely think you guys should check out. There's a lot of them, but definitely would suggest to check out Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, as it's a fairly cheap and affordable title for PS2 fun racing game. I think you guys should check out. We also talked about Outworld. This is a fun old school type RPG that's very difficult, has all kinds of survival elements to it, and is definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of action RPGs. So let me know your guys' thoughts on Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero and Outworld if you played either one of these, as both of these are wonderful titles. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on these. If you guys have any suggestions on titles you think I should check out, please let me know, because you guys always suggest really fun titles. And again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care, have a great day, and Sleepy will see you guys next time.